Good afternoon. This is, pronounce this for me, Ne Tok Le 000040 -0152, a higher level student at 2014. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi. Do you want to do this chronologically or in themes? How would you like to do this today?
I would like to do it both chronologically and in theme because I have variations.
Let's go. Go ahead.
So this is the first part is this first set of paintings is from the inspiration of Malacca.
Mm-hmm.
Here are there are two. It's an acrylic painting on canvas, and these two koi fishes are the ones I saw in Malacca.
Right.
And I'm trying to represent my personality through this painting. Here's also another piece from the inspiration of Malacca. I found this gramophone in the antique shop,
Right.
and I thought the opening of the gramophone has allowed me to create diagonal lines in my painting, and I have used monochromatic outside of this where the sound is coming from, and inside there is color to represent the colors of music and how it makes my life more interesting and beautiful. The second set of artworks are of my favorite place. I started off with this painting. It's acrylic on a kind of hard paper, and I have really focused on how to paint this leaf with accurate colors and also not only the shades of the colors of the leaf, but also in the edges where it has dried out. I noticed this during my holiday back in Vietnam. When I held it up, I noticed that not only the leaf is beautiful, but what is more beautiful is what is behind it, the scene of the school and the culture of the school.
Now tell me, why did you choose this school?
Also, because this is kind of like the first part of the course where I just moved to Singapore, and I still had a lot of nostalgic feelings of my old school, so I
So
decided
that's your
to
school?
make it. Yes.
So okay.
Uh-huh.
Now, technically, in there, the a lot of the colors are pastel, a little bit calm, and then the leaf is very bright. Why did that happen?
It happened like that because when I took the photo, I did this from a photo, and when I took the photo, the leaf was in focus, so it was very the image was very defined, the color was very bright, but then because the in the background it's blurred because it wasn't in focus, so the beauty of it is it makes the scenery from behind look more mysterious
Yes.
and
Yeah, well
captivating.
stated. Well stated.
For this one, these two are after this one, and this is another corner of my school. I drew a cone hat, which is also a symbol of Vietnam, and inside is the symbol of my school because these beautiful flower petals can be found rarely in my city, but it can be found a lot in my school. I liked how there's depth when you look through these windows. In this one, I tried to explore with a new medium, which is pastel, and I replicated the style of Leonid Efremov, which he used a lot of bright colors, a lot of brush strokes, but here I didn't use oil paint and a palette knife, instead I used pastel. But I felt that it still allowed me to replicate the style in a good way.
Excellent.
This is probably my one of my favorite set of artworks. It is based on the topic In the Footsteps of, and for this I used Geraldine Javier, a Filipino artist, to base my style on. So what she used was vitrines, and inside those vitrines are smaller pieces of art with more detail. So here it's called the rain drum. It's acrylic on a square piece of board, and on the outside I try to imitate the patterns that can be found on the Vietnamese fringe room. And inside each vitrine, I try to put attractions of Vietnam, with this being the One Hope Pagoda in the north. This is the Trang Tay Bridge in my city, which is in the middle of Vietnam, and this is the Tan Market in the south. So I developed this idea into this called the quintessence of Vietnam. Instead of a square board, I drew a Vietnamese map onto this big rectangular board, and this has allowed me to put the patterns onto the contour of the Vietnamese map. And also, the good thing is that I could put the north, central, and south attractions into its accurate places. I also use perspex here to make it look more treasured and valued. And also, this thread shows the connection. And I also use more surrealistic images such as the lotus, the cone hat, and the bird pattern that can be found here into each of the vitrines. This is a tile project. I decided to try out with shredded newspaper. I found that the newspaper has different shadings on at different parts. So when I shredded it up, I could categorize the shadings and make it into the image of the object that I'm trying to depict.
What object is this?
Oh, this is the Citadel Gate. It's a gate leading into the Imperial City in my hometown. So this is my second favorite topic in the IB Art course. Here I wanted to explore dreams, and probably I went back to Geraldine Javier's style of using vitrines and frames. This is the first painting in the topic. Instead of using vitrines that go into the artwork, I try to make it protrude. And inside the frame, I put foil so that when the light comes down, it will reflect and make the moon a bit brighter. It's really fantasy-like, and here I'm putting a ladder which leads up to the moon, and I'm reaching for the moon. The moon here represents my dreams, ambitions, and everything that I find beautiful in my life. And the frame makes it look like I treasure it a lot. With the same tone of color, I made another dream piece, which is kind of similar to the range run one, with each vitrine holding a different dream. And I also tried to put in butterflies and a lot of brush strokes to make the emotions more obvious.
Where are the butterflies made from?
The butterflies are made from foil, and I did some drawing onto the wings to make some textures, yes. This last set of artwork, I started with this. Also, yes, it's also an inspiration from one of Geraldine's artworks. Her artwork was called Hair, and it had hair coming out, which gave me a lot of strong emotions, and I thought maybe I could use this in my artwork. I integrated it with the Vietnamese picture of a Vietnamese girl, and also the butterfly that can be found over there.
Then what happened here?
And then
Oh, more here, sorry.
it's okay. So yes, then I decided to try out with digital painting, and I drew. At that time, I was holding an apple in my hand. I thought it looked really nice, the color of the apple, so I decided to try out with the tablet and Photoshop.
How did you learn this?
I did not learn it. I kind of learned it by myself.
Self-taught. Yeah.
And so I found that Photoshop allowed me to use a lot of effects and a lot of different kinds of brush using only one tool, which is the tablet. And it was really fascinating. So I made this and I put layers of paper to make the apple look even more 3D and real. And then moving on to this, it's called that, which is the traditional Vietnamese apron. And the hard thing about this was making her back look real with a lot of shading and a lot of observing in the real image.
Where was the real image from? From the internet?
Yes, I found it on a photography website on the internet. And also making the material, the silk, look real was also very difficult. Then this last piece of artwork was the inspiration was taken from the lyrics of a song, Moon River, wetter than a mile, I'm crossing you in style someday. It also has to do with dreams, as you can see from the color tone. And once again, I depicted a picture of a Vietnamese girl in her traditional costume and her cone hat. I had to observe the lighting of the water on some images, some other images, and also the moon. And here the special thing is that I had these birds patterns once again, and they are kind of flying up, which is the cherishing and developing of traditional cultures to make my life more beautiful and to integrate it with the new things that I've learned. Yes.
Who is the girl?
The girl is not me, but then it's supposedly my represent me.
I think it does. I think you're ready to cross the big river. Do you have any three-dimensional works that you'd like to talk
Oh, I forgot.
Keep going.
So these two are from inspiration from Project Week.
Where did you go?
I went to Bali in Indonesia.
Yeah.
This was the first piece that I made, and this is the first time I experimented with clay, and I looked at different artists who used very simple structures and shapes to make their sculptures. So I did, and not a lot of details, but still they could depict the general picture and the idea, which is supporting the children at the orphanage. Here it is about growth. You can see the figures entwined, and they are reaching up, which is growth. And on top there is a book, which I'm saying that education is very, very important, and it helps to protect these people and help them grow.
You had not worked with clay before, right?
No, I haven't.
So what technical struggles did you have making this stuff work, and how did you overcome those struggles?
So the practice piece that I made did not stand very well. So to overcome that problem, I used wire in the middle of it to make kind of like a spine to help it stand.
So you used an armature on the inside to help it
Yes.
stand. Right, okay.
And also because the details, the features, small features did not stick together, I had to use water in the beginning, but then they still didn't, so I had to use glue to stick them.
Very good. And a lot of times you use rich color. On the sculptures, you decided to let them be white. Why is this?
I thought it could be a change because, as I said, it's kind of the first time I experimented with clay, and also it's very interesting to see how there's no color, but it can still give you the meaning.
Excellent. Do you have a favorite piece that says not only what you can do with your art technically, but also conceptually what it means? Do you have one that does so well?
I don't
Could
know.
you do that?
I think that my favorite one would be the Moon River, even though even though technically I like Cherish more, but then here it very pleases me in the process of making it, even though it was really difficult to make it. It was very rewarding when I finished it.
All right. Thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
Officially, we're over. Okay, good. Did you practice or something?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I know you did. You were very good. And sort of off topic with art, your English is really, it's really good now. Remember when you first came here, you were pretty quiet, not sure about your English. You just talk like crazy. You use some very wonderful vocabulary words. I wish I could remember one right now. But you just, rich hues, I don't know, tonal value. It was real. I was just, I was listening to you as your art teacher, but also someone that's known you for 2 years as your teacher, and my goodness, Lenny, you've really embraced the English language. Holy cow! And I wanted, you obviously had a plan, but in the mock exam, I wanted to test you and see if I threw in some questions that you weren't ready for and how you'd handle that. And that's why I stopped you and I made you talk about this. And what I was looking for is what you said, that you wanted this to stand out more, and that it was blurry, so I knew that, and I wanted to use the blurry, so I let that go into the background, and I kept this color rich. That's what I wanted to hear, that you could switch gears. Also, somewhere else I started doing. Oh, on this one here.
Oh, no colors.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to say it or not, but sometimes when artists create sculptures, they it's all about the shadows. And so if you had painted these bright colors, I think we would have missed the wonderful shadows, because this light's really nice. There's a wonderful shadow right there. So by leaving them white, we get a chance to enjoy the shadows. So I think that was a good decision there as well. Your use of vitrines, and you're discussing this and the way this ties it all together, and this. I really enjoyed the work at the end with Moon River and how you tied that back to your earlier works. It makes it very clear to the person watching this video in the future that things weren't just randomly happening, but you went forward and you looked back and grabbed something from the past and put it in the new artwork and moved forward and went back. Nice work, kid.
Thank you.
That was outstanding. I can't believe you got all that in 15 minutes and 20 seconds, right? That was amazing. My gosh. Okay, and I even got to interrupt you once or twice too. So I think we'll do the real exam a lot like that. I can't figure, I want to leave something out so we can slow down, but oh man, you did so well. I'm at a loss. So, yeah, is there any three-dimensional work? Oh yeah, it's over here, John. That was pretty funny. Oh, one thing we didn't do is we didn't go, oh yes, I developed my ideas in my book.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, we'll stick that in there. It's hard when the books aren't here. And like the sculptures that you forgot, as you forget to the book, I'll say, oh yes, and the vitrines from, what was the name, I forgot. How did you work with it? Oh, thank you, I worked in the book. I'll help you do that, so you don't have, if you forget something, I'll help, right? That's what I'm here for, to ask you the right questions. Bye-bye. Yeah. That was beautiful. Excellent.
Do you have anyone next?
I think Jun-san is next.